Wake up, rise and shine. It's a brand new day with Mona News. It's time to have your say. She's got the scoop, the stories, all the latest trends. Mo's got the news, let's hear it. My dear friends, from politics to showbiz, no story's too small. Mo covers it all. She's got the inside call, her voice so smooth, like honey in the summer sun. With Mo on the mic, you know the news is always fun. Mornings with Mo, the best newsy news in the world. With her style so classic and her stories unfurled, from morning till night, she's got us in the know. Turn on your radio, let Mo's newsy news flow.
Good morning, everyone. It is the 24th of September, which means, have you really thought about your Halloween plans? But you guys, I am so pumped. I know exactly how hunter-gatherers feel. I have been looking for a smaller desk to do some news stuff. And on an auction site, we have local auctions, I guess, where hopefully they did not fall off of an Amazon truck. But, either way, I got a brand new whiteboard easel, an organizer thing for my bathroom, and a new desk for like $30. I feel very, very productive until Mr. Mo finds out that I decided, since, I drive a hybrid now, I could take this money from the gas account. I somewhat budget like Congress. So I will be in trouble for that, but oh my goodness, I found deals. And if you are on the frugal side of the force, there is nothing more exciting than finding something on clearance. Let me tell you, I feel like a cave person who had brought home the biggest wildebeest and was like, huzzah. The things that make you excited as an adult. It just tickles you. Wolfram, thank you for doing your Modly Mod stuff. Thank you, Squabob, for being here, and Tammy, and Squid Pro Quo. I believe you're here. Jedi Jess, Pranella, and Janie J, Nanny Goat, Roland Arthur, Terry D, Christine. I hope you are doing better and getting some good rest. Justin Smith. Welcome. So, Squabob, I am 3 years into this, having this diagnosis, I am realizing there are certain things that I need to modify for fall coming in, especially with La Nina. It's supposed to be a wetter fall winter for Indiana folks. So I am trying to set up things to where I can be much more comfortable when I stream, have a better view for you, and just kind of modify things, not so much on your end, but I can sit in my comfy chair, or I can do certain things that will help, and it makes so I don't have to have a day off, but it just changes things. So I have all these ideas, and Mr. Mo knows how to make them happen because I have no spatial awareness or technical know-how. So he is here to make sure that I don't go totally crazy with what I buy, and I'm here to find the best deals ever. Our first story, thank goodness this isn't my kid, and I mean that only because shoes would be so expensive. Teen sets world record for largest feet and hands. People are usually amazed. Well, that's because you come from a tall people, sir. There is not a short one among you there. I do feel bad. I can imagine not being able to find shoes or anything that really fits would be extremely difficult. But again, I'm glad I don't have to pay for his monster feet, because can you imagine? This teen has filled some pretty big shoes. Eric Kilburn Jr., a 16-year-old football player at Goodrich High School in Michigan, has officially set not one but two Guinness World Records. The 6'10" teen has both the largest feet and largest hands of a living teenager. Holy fazolies. Uh, his feet measured 13 and a half inches, making him a shocking size 23 in men's shoes, which is drastically larger than the typical range of 8.5 to 9 for a male. Meanwhile, his hands covered 9.13 inches, much larger than the 7.4-inch, I guess, hand span. Look, I have very small hands. I have the hands of a kindergartner. So I'm just telling you guys from the beginning, do not sign me up for your dodgeball game. Not only am I terrible at it, but my hands, I'm not able to palm the ball and really fling it. So, you know, now talk to me about wiffle ball. I am, well, slightly less than terrible. People are usually amazed and feel comfortable talking or starting these conversations with me about the size of my feet and hands, he told Guinness. I meet a lot of interesting people this way. Yeah, let me just tell you, if someone comes up and says, "Hi, I like your feet," I'm getting a restraining order. I'm not talking back to you. I am calling an adult over if you come over and start your conversation with, "Hey, I heard your feet were really big." Nope. No, that is a crazy person. Kilburn has been much bigger than his classmates since kindergarten and hasn't been able to purchase new shoes in a store since he was in the 5th grade. Oh, Lord, they took a big old picture of his feet. Why? Why are you trying to hurt me? I was trying to do a nice thing and give you, publicity, and you had to show his feet. Ew. He only noticed his uniqueness when his size began to cause problems in everyday life. Giggity. Custom shoes, which doctors warned would cost the family more than $1,500, would put a financial strain on his family. Instead, Kilburn opted to wear Crocs for 2 years straight, including in snowy conditions in Michigan, and developed painful calluses, blisters, and ingrown toenails. He also had to watch his football team from the sidelines due to a high ankle sprain from not having cleats. That's terrible. Fortunately, the teen's story spread, and several shoemakers, including Under Armour, Reebok, and with the help of NBA icon Shaquille O'Neal, stepped forward to provide the high schooler with several pairs of shoes that fit him. Well, good job, Shaq. I mean, I do like it when bigger stars, continue to let down the ladder and help other people. It was pretty cool to see how many people genuinely care about helping others, Kilburn said. Seeing others help him inspired Kilburn Jr. to continue to spread positivity through the Big Shoe Network, a nonprofit organization founded by his mother who focuses on helping individuals who struggle to find clothes and shoes in their size. This is one big boy. I mean, that is corn-fed, okay? I mean, that's where you're like, "Sir, I'm gonna need to card you." No, I think feet are weird and gross. I'm sorry. I don't shame anyone who likes feet. I just don't get it particularly. But I do have 6 kids that need to go to college, and I am getting a pedicure. So if I have to walk through Jello, I'm kind of okay with it. I'm just kidding. No, Mr. Mo would not be amused if I didn't only feet. And besides, feet are weird. I want to help people the same way I was helped when I needed it. What a good kid. He hopes it encourages people to embrace their differences. It's okay to stand out. Don't let negativity distract you from your goals, the positivity minded teen said. Although setting 2 world records before 18 wasn't exactly a goal of his, the high schooler is excited about the recognition. I don't know. You guys know I don't know sports ball. He plays one of the things that you hit the other people so they don't hit your quarterback guy. I don't know. Or maybe he's an he's a big old dude. What do you want me to say? He hits other people in football. Beginning in the Guinness World Record, or being in the Guinness World Record book feels kind of surreal, he admitted. I've gone to reading the books to being inside the 2025 book. It's something that I never would have imagined was even possible. This experience is something I'm so grateful for. It really couldn't have been any better in my eyes. So, what a humble and good kid. Oh my gosh, can you imagine? ESPN, please hire me. I will help you involve the wine moms that you seem to want. I'll be like, well, they're wearing really tight pants. And God, I hope they all are wearing jock straps. And looks like they're hitting each other for some reason. And this guy is going to throw a ball. Let's see if the other guy catches it. Though I would tackle him before he got the ball, but that seems to be me. Yeah, that's exactly how you know, John Madding and Mo would go. A tiny island known as the Galapagos of the North is in panic over a possible rat sighting. Since I want to move to Alaska, we must protect it. Rats, a tiny Alaskan island known as the Galapagos of the North with a population of just 350 people. You're selling this way too much. I already have boxes. We will move. Is in a panic over a singular rat that might not even exist. The residents of St. Paul Island in the Bering Sea have been on the hunt for a potential rodent for roughly 3 months after a locally reported possible sighting in June. Well, there you go. Rats don't exist on the remote island, which is part of the Pribilof Islands. Introduction of the animal, which may have hitched a ride on a boat or a plane, could set off a chain reaction that could endanger its thriving seabird population, which has made St. Paul a worldwide birding destination. Oh, well, now I'm going to have to deal with people that watch birds. Think I could handle it. I just leave during the popular season. It's just the abundance of wildlife that we hear stories or read historical accounts of, but it's really seldom see in our modern age, said Donald Lyons, director of conservation science with the National Audubon Society's Seabird Institute. And so St. Paul is really just a place where I felt wonder, the spectacle of nature. Rats, which reproduce rapidly, have taken over other remote islands and obliterated their bird populations as the rodents feast on bird eggs, chicks, and sometimes even adult birds. Quote, we know because we've seen this on other islands and in other locations in Alaska across the world. The rats absolutely decimate seabird colonies, so the threat is never one that the community would take lightly. Lauren Devine, director of Aleut Community of St. Paul's Island Ecosystem Conservation Office. Once the rats take control of an island, it often takes millions of dollars and several years to exterminate all of them, and then several more years for the bird population to come back. Though the resident isn't 100% sure that they saw a whiskered pest, the wildlife officials have been setting up elaborate traps to find it. After searching high and low for any possible signs of the visitor, dropping tracks, gnaw marks, officials put out bait traps with peanut butter, wax chew blocks, and trail cameras to try to find it. The chew blocks mark any bites from rats and are created with ultraviolet material that makes the rats dropping glow under black light. Well, that's interesting. I had no idea you could do that. Also, who thought of that? Who was in the, Dale Gribble exterminator meeting and said, you know what would be really easy if we got them to eat some luminol? Now, no, listen to me, Cletus. If we got them to eat luminol and then we could just, spray a black light, we would know where all them rats are going. I'm just saying. I don't know who made this idea up, but I hope that gummies were involved. In the roughly 3 months of searching, officials have seen no signs of a possible rodent. Okay, well then it probably don't have one. Unfortunately, it's like searching for a needle in a haystack when you don't know if the needle even exists, said Devine. St. Paul has an existing anti-rat border patrol system placed at its airport and developed waterfront areas to kill any rodents that hitch a ride to the island before they can get far. What, do they have like the lasers in Resident Evil 1? Again, I have asked about that security system set to stun, not, slice and dice Cuisinart. And apparently it is just not ready yet. I have tried. I want the Resident Evil, laser grid set to stun for my office, and they just won't let me have it. Now, but one did get through the tight security in 2018 and evaded capture for 10 months before it was eventually found dead. Yes. Uh, well, octopuses are jerks. Octopi. Apparently, octopuses were recorded hunting with fish and punching those that didn't cooperate. Yeah, I can see octopuses being a bit jerky because they're smarter than the other animals, and they're like, "Gosh, you are all dumb. I'm going to go sit in this jar." Welcome, welcome, Fed. And let's see here. Octopi or octopuses don't always hunt alone, but their partners aren't who you'd expect. A new study shows that some members of the species Octopus cyana murad around the seafloor hunting with groups of fish, which sometimes include several fish species at once. The research published in the Journal of Nature on Monday even suggests that the famously intelligent animals organize their hunting groups' decisions, including what they should prey upon. What's more, researchers witnessed the cephalopod species, often called big blue or day octopus, punching companion fish apparently to keep them on task and contributing to the collective effort. So the octopus is like the oldest sibling, and the fish are like the youngest, most feral, and they're like, "Would you just hurting cats?" So octopi are apparently violent when you don't follow their hunting plans. They're like, it was a light backhand to make sure they were paying attention. Octopus have often been thought to avoid other members of their species and prowl solo using camouflage, but the study suggests that some octopus have surprisingly rich social lives, finding that it opens a new window into the marvels of undersea life. It is an indication that at least one octopus species has characteristics and markers of intelligence that scientists once considered only common in vertebrates. Quote, I think socially, or at least attention to social information, is way more deep rooted in evolutionary tree than we might think, said Eduardo Sampaio, a postdoctoral researcher at Max Planck Institute of Behavioral or Animal Behavior and the lead author of the research. We are very similar to these animals, he added. In terms of sentience, they are very close or closer to us than we think. To understand the inner details of octopus lives, the researchers dived for about a month at a reef off the coast of Eilat, Israel, and tracked 13 octopuses for a total of 120 hours using several cameras. The team followed 13 octopus hunts, during which they observed groups of between 2 and 10 fish working with each octopus. These hunting groups typically included several species of reef fish, such as grouper and goatfish. The octopus did not appear to lead the groups, but they did punch at fish to enforce social order. Most often black tip groupers, so apparently these groupers just would not pay attention. The ones that get more punched are the main exploiters of the group. They are the ambush predators, the ones that don't move or don't look for prey, Sampaio said. They're like, would you stop? Just hunt the prey. Come on. And the fish is like, I don't even know why I'm here. I was supposed to be off. The octopus would also punch fish to keep the fish or group moving. Quote, if the group is very still and everyone is around the octopus, it starts punching. But if the group is moving along the habitat, this means that they're looking for prey, so the octopus is happy and it doesn't punch anyone. These octopi are violent. I did not know this. This is going to make Finding Nemo 5 really weird. He's going to get punched by the octopus. The octopus is like, could we go hunt now? Could we go? The researchers think the fish benefit from hunting groups because the octopus can reach into crevices where the prey hides and root out lunch. The octopus benefits, they believe, because it can simply follow the fish to the food rather than perform what researchers call speculative hunting. For the octopus is also an advantage because it doesn't need to sample or go around the environment. Sampaio said it can just look at the fish. After shooting their video, the researchers fed all the hunting scenes into software that creates three-dimensional representations, then used another program to track each animal and log its position in relation to others. The data allowed the researcher to measure how close the creatures remained to each other and which creatures anchored or pulled the group in one direction or another. Data showed that particular fish species, including the blue goatfish, would roam off and lead the hunting groups in that direction, but the group of fish would linger if the octopus didn't immediately follow. The goatfish are the ones exploring the environment and finding prey, Sampaio explained. The octopus is the decider of the group. I like to be in management too. Like, don't send me out to do stuff. I'll supervise. Researchers did not see evidence that the creatures shared prey. All species involved are generalists that eat crustaceans, fish, and mollusks, but whoever is able to catch the prey got the meal. The question remains, though, however, including whether certain octopus recognize or prefer to hunt with a favorite fish companion. Is there recognition of the individual? Sampaio said, I want to follow the blue goldfish, or do I want to follow Martha because I've hunted with Martha before? It's also not clear if this social hunting behavior is something that octopuses learn or if it's innate. Jonathan Birch, a professor of philosophy. Why are we getting a professor of philosophy? Was the marine biologist busy today? At London Schools of Economics, who studies animal sentience, was not involved in the new research. He said he was impressed by the hours of video evidence that the scientists collected and their careful coding of the video to quantify the relationship between the creatures. It's an important step beyond what you get in nature documentaries, where the individual behavior will get filmed. He also appreciated that the study's observation were made outside a laboratory setting where a lot of animal cognition research takes place. Octopi can be difficult to study outside their natural setting. They just seem to be so much more expressive in the wild and capable of so much more. Yeah, I am all confused. What in the world? Why is someone from philosophy in London telling us how octopus study? I don't know. Welcome, Captain Kern. So there you go. Octopuses are kind of jerks if you aren't paying attention when you're hunting. Giant news. This lawyer may be having a bad day. A lawyer could be sanctioned for blowing a police officer's cover, city demands. Well, who among us hasn't outed a police officer before? Canton, you might want to be careful. The length of bushiness of the police officer's beard has become less of an issue in a legal fight in California. The city of Fontana is calling for attorney Jerry Steering to be held in contempt after Steering publicized a nearly $900,000 settlement. The city said he violated a protective order by releasing confidential images of officers that were reviewed in the lawsuit, which accuses detectives of browbeating a murder confession out of an innocent man during 17 hours of interrogation. The city has maintained that the officers did not break any laws. Various media outlets in the U.S. and Europe ran the story after it broke in the San Bernardino Sun at the end of May, many using video and still photos from the interrogation of Tom Perez by Detective David Janice and Kyle Guthrie. At least one also used a photo of Janice in his police uniform and Guthrie taken from the deposition in the case. But when CNN spoke exclusively to Perez for an in-depth feature and sought comment from Fontana officials, the city accused Steering of blowing a covert officer's cover and releasing materials in contravention of the court's protective order, designed to, quote, not jeopardize the Fontana Police Department's operations and safety. The city, though, through its attorney, Cheryl Harrell, called Steering to face sanctions and be found in contempt of court, saying his alleged release of Guthrie's image hurt the officer's quote unquote promising career as a supervisor of undercover operations. FPD is now forced to abruptly pull its key undercover officer from the field in an effort to protect him from underworld elements he had successfully infiltrated. Well, it seems like you also tried to get a man to plead guilty to a crime he didn't do by questioning him for 17 hours. So, sir, I don't know if I trust you to be undercover and not partake of all the illicit and ridiculous stuff that is there. Quote, due to the danger of assassination following his exposure, Sergeant Guthrie's utility as a field undercover officer has been destroyed. Sergeant Guthrie has been quickly removed from his undercover assignments, and his valuable undercover operations have consequently imploded. The people of Fontina community will assuredly suffer as a result. Guthrie was not named as a defendant in the civil suit, in which Perez accused the police of false imprisonment and due process violations, among other offensive. Though he was the chief interrogator of Perez. Steering countered that Guthrie's appearance was no secret. The city itself had publicized Guthrie's face with photos of him receiving an Employee of the Year award. Well, darn it, when we don't look at what we publish, we are mad at you for publishing his picture after we published it. The award for his work was in 2019, and the photo dates from February 2020 ceremony during the city council meeting. Quote, when in 2020, Officer Kyle Guthrie received the award for Fontana Police Department Officer of the Year for 2019, he already sported that long beard. Steering wrote in his response to the action against him. He called Guthrie the most vicious interrogator of Perez. The city replied in a September 13th filing, but the image of Sergeant Guthrie, which Steering released to the media, is more current, and his beard is actual likeness. So, this man already had a bushy beard. I mean, come on now. He does have the requisite baldness, though. So there you go. Guthrie's photo from 2020 depicts a heavier man with a completely different facial hair than depicted in Steering's media release Guthrie photo, the city wrote. In both images, Guthrie has a shaved head. In 2020, his beard is arguably thicker and shorter than it appears in the February 14th, 2023 deposition. By the 2023 deposition, the sideburns were gone, and Guthrie's cheeks are more clean-shaven down to his jawbone. A streak of gray down the chin is more prominent in the ruddy-colored beard, as seen in later images. Well, that's a Jack Murphy beard if I ever saw. They're not showing the other picture. I think that because they're still going to try to put him undercover. Steering joked in the deposition that he sported a beard to distract people from looking at the top of his head, to which Guthrie replied, same. When asked if the beard was part of his job, Guthrie replied, I work in an undercover assignment, so I'm not uniformed personnel, so I can choose to grow my hair out. A beard, obviously, you can tell I don't have much hair to grow out, so this is the only thing I've got. The city complained that the deposition shows Guthrie's current undercover likeness, and in a supporting document supplied to the court, FPD Captain Brian Binks said the image from the deposition, quote, captured Sergeant Guthrie while he was dressed in his undercover attire. What? A tracksuit and a big, Flavor Flav, clock right here, blinged out to all heck? Come on now, you guys. How big is Fontana? Seriously, he got an Employee of the Year award. I'm sure, even criminals can ascertain, you look exactly like this guy who won Cop of the Year, but you're a little skinnier. Nah, you're not a cop. Come on now. But the video shows Guthrie wearing a shirt with the logo of Island Valley Special Weapons Team, a regional SWAT outfit. Undercover police officers typically never wear anything that could link them to law enforcement, even when not conducting operations. Quote, Mr. Steele elected to publicize Guthrie's current likeness and implode his infield undercover career, the city wrote. The still image from the deposition was not covered by the court's protective order, but the city argues that it should have never been released. Quote, it would be difficult to conceive of a more reckless conduct than Mr. Steering deciding to destroy valuable FPD undercover operations and valuable undercover careers by broadcasting an FPD officer's images to the city's criminal underground network. Yes, he put it right on the on the dark web. It was right there, I promise. Really? Come on now. Okay, so these are the officers. So this is Guthrie. This guy's probably undercover, let's be real, because who the hell wears a mohawk, to anything? And then 1, 2, 3, 4 normal cops. So 2 undercover. This guy looked like his wife bought the suit and he's very upset to be there. He's like, ma'am, I told you I wanted to stand out. This looks like I got a box suit from, J.C. Penney's. So there you go. They are fighting, but I don't see the point, to be honest with you. This man decided to deny someone their civil rights, their, due process, and they still want him to be an officer. That's a no-go for me. Also, that beard looks a whole lot Jack Murphy-ish, so I'm going to need an internal affairs report on you, sir. I'm sorry, anyone with a Jack Murphy streak now must be profiled very, very well before we talk to him. Well, we had an octopus story, and now Octomom. Who'd have thought she'd be back in the news ever? And I do mean ever. But the Octomom, Nadia Suleiman, has become a grandmother for the first time. I'm sure that's not going to be the first grandchild. Baby girl, you are so very loved. Aw, I love little baby feet. I don't know why I love baby feet, but real people feet, nope, just no. Nadia Suleiman is a grandmother. On Sunday, September 22nd, the media personality, dubbed Octomom after giving birth to the first surviving octuplets in history in 2009, revealed that one of her sons has welcomed his own baby into the world. Suleiman, 49, shared a photo on Instagram showing the baby girl's tiny foot peeking out from a pink blanket. Without revealing which one of her 10 sons had welcomed the baby, the star, who is a mom of 14, I always love it when people have more kids than me. I'm like, look at you weirdos, 14 children. I'm just kidding. It takes the heat off of me. People are like, 6 children? Are you Mormon or Catholic? And I'm like, no, I just needed a new hobby. I have said that. Yes, I did. In public. Like, yeah, I just need a new hobby. I found streaming. But it does take like the pressure off of me when someone has more kids than me and they're right there. I am like, oh, I will use you as she wrote, thank you to my son and lovely daughter-in-law for giving us this beautiful baby girl. We are so blessed. She is a new addition to our family. Suleiman was already a mom of 6 children, Amaya, Kalissa, Elijah, Caleb, Joshua, and Aiden, when she gave birth to our octuplets, Noah, Isaiah, Jeremiah, Jonah, Joseph, Makai, Malia, and Nariah 15 years ago. I think it would be really weird if my future mother-in-law had done corn and I could look up things on Hub of her. But other than that, I mean, maybe she's a nice person. I just think that knowing me, knowing my Mo filterlessness, the corn thing would come up at some point. And probably like in a verbal diarrhea, like, why the hell did you do corn? Oh, well, thank you, goodness. I don't believe it's the 15-year-old. I believe it's the first batch of 6 kids. Either Amaya, Kalissa, well, not those 2 because they're girls, but Elijah, Caleb, Joshua, or Aiden. Although Aiden can be a girl's name now too because people just want to confuse me. I'm hoping it's one of her older kids. I do not know, though. Despite stepping away from the spotlight in 2013, still shares family photos on social media, posting multiple childhood snaps of her son Joshua on August 21st to mark his 21st birthday, suggesting in the caption that it was him who welcomed the baby. I'm proud of the man you're becoming. You're smart, funny, hardworking, loyal, humble, and now a devoted husband and soon to be father. Before that, Suleiman shared some snaps and a video of the family celebrating her birthday on July 11th. The kids sang happy birthday to her. So apparently, these are all of her kids. And honestly, I am amazed at how little birth defects or injuries from, you know, being born so prematurely, having to be in the NICU. An octuplet pregnancy is probably filled with all sorts of medical issues. I don't know who the doctor was that decided to implant all these children at once. I do believe it is against policy now to implant this many kids in people, I think. Suleiman also celebrated her octuplet's 15th birthday on January 28th with a sweet throwback photo, including a caption, I'm so proud of the young adults you're growing into. When Suleiman welcomed her octuplets, she was unemployed at the time and turned to various ventures in a bid to support her family, including a nude photo shoot, corn, boxing, and an effort to trademark her Octomom nickname. While speaking to people in 2016 about her decision to walk away from her Octomom fame, the mom of 14 said, I stopped wanting to do it from day one. I was violating my boundaries and my value system and my own self. I didn't think of it at the time because I was in survival mode and I was doing whatever I possibly could to provide for my children, she continued. There was definitely a catalyst. My girls, particularly my oldest daughter, Amira, she was about 10 and started integrating my traits and behaviors. After I'd observed my daughter beginning to emulate me, I saw her going down the same potentially destructive path and realized at that moment I'd rather be homeless in my van with all 14 kids than continuing down this path. It was not what I wanted for my children. And look, I might joke with her. I might not agree with her decision to have so many children without a job or any prospect lined up. I think that's deeply, deeply, well, unprepared, reckless, and silly. But the fact that, and I think, regardless of if she did corn, if she's on a hub, if she decided to do some ridiculous things, she noticed a problem and she changed it. And God knows when you are going down a not so great path, it is not easy to change what you're doing and really take a good hard look in the mirror and say, hey, I don't like the person I'm becoming and really change it. So kudos for her. I didn't think I'd actually say that, but good job for her for actually changing and, you know, being okay with changing. Well, are we part of a time warp conspiracy, or are some people just getting a little too into being cray cray? Does this 1941 photo include an iPad? Some shocked viewers think so. Quote, time for the Twilight Zone theme. She did. I think people did not like the fact that she had no plan to support these children, and yet she went through with it. And also the very real medical, complications of having multiple fetuses, I think was a really big issue for a lot of people. From what I remember, I wasn't too old and I really didn't follow the Octomom thing. A child in a 1941 photo appears to be holding an iPad or a book. You guys, a book. For the love of all that is holy, that is a book. This right here is what they are losing their freaking minds about because they think it's an iPad, but that is clearly a book or a folio of some kind, in my opinion. The picture, taken by Farm Security Administration photographer Edwin Roscom, captures a group of people of color. Really? Is that what we're supposed to say now? That doesn't. Okay. I'm reading what they've written. I did not know that was the new term. Patiently waiting in line to enter a movie theater on the south side of Chicago. While the photo may look inconspicuous at first glance, some wildly imaginative viewers have claimed that the snapshot is proof of time travel due to one minor detail. Yes, right schneer, where you can see clearly that it indents because it is a damn book. Some commenters zoomed in on a boy standing to the far right holding what they claimed looked like a popular iPad Apple product that wasn't released until 2010. The bottom line, the kid's adorable and proud to be who they are, but how is the first kid in line holding an Apple iPad in 1941? Someone snarked on Reddit, time for the theme from the Twilight Zone. Considering this is coming from Reddit, I can kind of see how they were confused. They've never seen a book that isn't Harry Potter. Cue the Reddit rage. However, most viewers were quick to shut this down, insisting that the item could not be an electronic tablet because they were not yet invented and time travel has not been proven. Instead, others suggest that the item the young boy was carrying was most likely a book, a Bible, or a notebook or a leather bound diary. Commenters additionally commented that folks in the photos are in the photo, many of whom were young, for their impeccable outfits and as they are adorned in their quote unquote Sunday best. They are all dressed so nightly. To wear Sunday best to see the movies, it must have been a fantastic treat, someone wrote. Part of me wishes we would all dress up for things like that. Then I debate if I'm even going to shower today. Look at them. They're suited and booted and looking mighty fine. That is not a Bible. That is too thin. That might be a single book from the Bible. I do wish that we did. I'm not disparaging Harry Potter. I've just read more than Harry Potter. There's a difference. Now, most of mine are romance and smexy books, but you can learn some things from that if you have an author that actually researches tangent engaged, but romance authors out there. I need you to look at me dead in my eyes right now. Okay. If you don't know anything about force multipliers, please do some research because nothing takes you out of a book more than when they're like, they had a semi-automatic and it shot 50, freedom seeds in 1 second. And I'm like, that's not how any of this works. Oh my God, I can't. And then I usually turn the page and either stop the book or go on. But I'm just like, this person is ridiculous. No, they don't. Well, speaking of kids and insurance, Nick Cannon regrets lowballing his 10 million insurance policy on his baubles. It should have been more like 12 million. Yes, everyone wants to have a. I did not read 50 Shades of Grey. 50 Shades of Grey was written by someone who has a very vague concept of writing, motivation, character development, plot, anything. It's a horrible book. There's so much better smut out there. Oh, I need to watch that trial. She does a terrible job. All of her books are like, How to Meet a Perfect Man. And then she's like, I was never there, possibly, maybe. Well, so you see this face and you're like, yes, I'd like you to father all of my children and then abandon them. Raise them in a harem with your other chicks. I don't get how he gets chicks to be okay with this, but alrighty. The father of 12 pointed out that the policy could have secured $1 million for each kid. Nick Cannon has a single regret about ensuring his berries. He should have aimed for a higher payout. In June, the Masked Singer host and notorious father of 12 announced via social media that soap company Dr. Sasquatch had insured his family jewels for $10 million, making them the most valuable balls in the world. You guys, sometimes I love my job so distinctly much, and the fact that I get to say that Nick Cannon has the most valuable balls in the world, and it is in fact a quote, it just touches the absurdist in me and makes me smile a little bit brighter. Not as much as finding a deal on a little desk, but this really is what timeline are we in? Let's see here. But now some time has passed, and Cannon believes that his assets were undervalued. It's not enough, he told E! News in a new interview. It should have been 12 million, one for each kid. As for those still confused about the unusual insurance policy, Cannon laid it out plainly. You hear all these supermodels insuring their legs for millions of dollars. Why shouldn't I insure my best assets? Your best assets are the sperm that comes out, you dingus, not the place that creates them. Also, again, how are you getting a bunch of women to sign on and co-sign to this? I got to make sure my kids are taken care of when my manhood no longer works. I think the entire world is collectively hoping your manhood won't work anymore, sir. All that says, Cannon has no reply or plans to retire his little cannon anytime soon. Still got a long way to go. What, are you trying to be Genghis Khan? I mean, what 12? I have 6 children and I love all 6 of my children. But it is overwhelming sometimes. There are a lot of needs you have to meet, and sometimes you feel stretched thin, even with 2 children, even with 1 children, or with 1 child, sorry. You know, it's easy to feel overwhelmed, like you're not doing a whole lot. How can you meet the emotional, physical, and spiritual needs of all of these children when you're out creating more? I mean, I joke about having, Elon Musk's, 15th child co-sign Tangent Messiah. But honestly, I mean, 6 kids is no joke. I can't imagine 12. And with different parents in different houses, I mean, how are your children ever going to live down the fact that you insured your balls? Do you think they're going to get through middle school without someone saying, "Oh my God, your dad, I would teabag your dad, but I'd have to pay him $50 or something"? I mean, can you imagine the absolute BS these kids are in for because their dad is a complete Looney Tune? Upon announcing the insurance policy, Cannon said in a statement, quote, "Haters say it's time for me to stop having kids, but put this super sperm to rest, but I'm doubling down on these valuable balls and my future kids. Shout out to Dr. Sasquatch for giving my balls the credit they deserve and hooking me up with the protection I need to keep this family tree rolling." End quote. That is an entire quote that this man just put out about being an absolute, spreader of his seed. For the holy godness, what is wrong with these people? Men, no. Sasquatch Soap Company insured his testicles to keep his sperm safe for humanity, because that's what humanity needs right now. Now, men, I would like you to come to the front of the classroom, because what about this says, yes, let me let you close to my children? What about these Manson lamps and these eyebrows say, yeah, I trust you? No, this is called a crazy ass woman. This is called a crazy ass woman face, and I am confused as to why you date this. Because I can already see the fist fights, the 3 a.m., Waffle House throwdowns, all when I look at this face. I'm just telling you. A 40-year-old Florida woman, are we shocked? Will spend the next 20 years in prison after a jury found her guilty of stabbing her paramour's 2 children. Oh, no, not children. All attendants, please report to your lordshipy stations. Dolores Espinoza Rodriguez was convicted of 2 counts of attempted murder, aggravated CA with a weapon, and felony battery, according to 9th Judicial Circuit State Attorney's Office. Espinoza Rodriguez stabbed 2 children, a 14-year-old boy and a 10-year-old girl, on January 16th, 2023, inside an Osceola County home. Osceola, is that it? I think I've heard of it. Espinoza Rodriguez testified in her own defense during a 4-day trial. During her testimony, she claimed self-defense, saying that the kid's father ordered them to attack her, but the jury didn't buy her story. When A judge sentenced her on December 9th. She will, or sentences her on, okay, this is where they catch you. Copy editor, law and crime, because sentences is not possessive. Her on December 9th, she will face at least 20 years in prison for the felony battery, up to 30 years for the attempted unaliving charges, and up to life for aggravated child abuse with a weapon. As Law and Crime previously reported, the incident began with an argument between Crazy Eyes and her boyfriend when the two were out for dinner. Prosecutors said in court documents that when she arrived back at the house, Crazy Eyes, quote, indicated she wanted to harm herself. When her boyfriend and his kids attempted to calm her down, Espinosa Rodriguez produced a knife and stated that she was going to go out in a bang before attacking all three, the filings state. Espinosa Rodriguez stabbed the 14-year-old boy in the left shoulder and chest area and the 10-year-old girl in her left shoulder. During the attack, the 14-year-old boy was able to dial 911 for help. Deputies arrived on the scene minutes later and said the young boy was visibly bleeding when he opened the front door. Deputies then entered the home where they found the boyfriend holding down Espinosa Rodriguez, who they placed under arrest. As they continued to search the house, deputies found the 10-year-old girl in the bedroom. Oh my goodness, poor dear angel. Quote, where she was lying in a pool of her own blood from what appeared to be multiple stab wounds. This heifer goes directly to the sun. I don't think Lord Chippy can stomach you. How dare you? I am so tired, and look, this is going to be controversial, but I am so tired of every one of these dingleberries saying, I was going to delete myself, but they end up deleting everyone around them with not a scratch on them. It infuriates me to no end that it's always the person saying, I was going to delete. And that boy is beyond a hero. That boy is a hero. And you know what? That dad who stayed there, and he was probably stabbed too, to protect his children and just kept this crazy thunder cow, under wraps. That boy is a hero. That boy went in and tried to protect his sister and his dad. And you raised a good son if your son's inclination is to go help your family and get help. Both children sustained life-threatening injuries and had to be transported via helicopter to Orlando Health Arnold Palmer Hospital for Children for emergency medical treatment, according to prosecutors. The boyfriend, who sustained an injury to his hand when he fought and disarmed Espinosa Rodriguez, showed deputies where he tossed the weapons, which an Osceola County Sheriff Marcus Lopez described as a paring knife with a black handle and blood on the blade. Lopez said that Espinosa Rodriguez began the stabbing spree by attacking the daughter before the older brother stepped in. This bitch would attack a little girl. Excuse my French or Canadian. I don't know. But this absolute butterface, ridiculous, eyebrow, no having, big old bug-eyed chick would go after a teen. And yes, usually I don't make fun of people's looks. But then you stab a 10-year-old and I say, I'm a cut you down with my words, all right? So this absolute piece of corroded trash water decided to attack a 10-year-old girl first. Yeah, self-defense my ass, ma'am. I'm glad you're going to prison. The 14-year-old tried to intervene, got stabbed, and called 911, Lopez said. Well, Florida has really good sunshine laws, so we can hear all of the crazy, whereas other states don't have such an easy access. So Florida might not be the most crazy. They just are the most open about their crazy. And I kind of appreciate that. I kind of like people that are like, look, it's my family. We're a little weird. We're kind of off color and we might be a little blue, but we're the kindest people that you'll ever meet. Just don't cross us. Also, there's crazy cousin Cletus over there. I wouldn't mess with him. Let's see here. Even though he was 14 years old, it's his sister. He knew her life was in danger and she could actually die. He immediately ran there trying to save the life of his little sister, which he probably did, and received stab wounds in the process. He is truly a hero. Absolutely, young man. I don't know if you'll ever watch this, but from the bottom of my heart, you are an absolute hero. You stepped in when some people wouldn't. Some people freeze. I I often wonder in, those times when maybe you can't sleep if I would have the bravery to jump in. And I hope I do. I hope I would be just as brave as you are. Lopez also described the man and Espinoza as having a very odd relationship. Prosecutors referred to Espinoza Rodriguez as the man's paramour in the court filing. Quote, they weren't really in a relationship where they come home and sleep in the same room together. I believe she rented a room from her boyfriend or every now and then had the smexy time, Lopez said. It's domestic, but it's not like a relationship where all were living as a family. Lopez added that the boyfriend really probably didn't want anything else to do with her, which led to an argument. Then she just lost it and went nuts. Yeah, kind of, that face went nuts. I don't know. In what the hell am I reading? Y'all, Mr. Mo was watching me pick out movies, news stories this morning, and he's like, "Oh my gosh, read this." And I said, "No, I don't read. I read the headlines and then don't read the entire article until I'm with you guys, so you guys kind of get my first reaction." And he's like, "What the hell is this headline?" And I said, "Now you see what I'm working with." A Virginia school photographer loses her job after allegedly asking young students, quote, "Can I eat your soul?" I mean, now why does this photographer look confused as to why parents would be upset about that? Thank you so much, Jude. This photographer looks like she is confused and like, this is mean to me. I don't understand why parents are so upset that I ask their small children to eat their souls. Maybe because that's ridiculous and no one should ask that. A Virginia elementary school photographer reportedly lost her job after being accused of making improper remarks to young students, including allegedly asking one boy, quote, "Can I eat your soul?" The principal of Chittum Elementary School in Chesapeake, Bridget Outlaw, said that an email was sent to parents last week that a photographer hired to take school pictures was escorted off campus for making inappropriate comments to students, WTKR reported. The photographer, who was not named by the school or company officials, was employed by Lifetouch, a family and school photography service owned by Shutterfly. In an interview, parent Rachel Fjord told WTKR that her son was sitting to have his school picture taken when the photographer allegedly asked him, quote, "Can I steal your identity? And can I eat your soul?" Yeah, sounds like someone I don't want around my children. And I can understand making funny jokes. I mean, again, when you're with adults, that's probably okay, but it's all about knowing your audience. I would not tell some of my more raunchy stories to a group of nuns because I just wouldn't, because I don't need to have them directly tell God that I'm going to hell. But also, I know my audience. They wouldn't appreciate that, and I never want to make anyone really uncomfortable with my stories. So I do tend to edit, even though I have, unstoppable squirrel syndrome. It's knowing your audience. You can say all the things you want about good versus evil, God versus the devil, or demons, or whatever, but at the end of the day, what was said was not funny, and it wasn't okay. It was a child in an uncomfortable situation, the mom said. I know people are trying to say, oh, she's joking, it was just funny, but it's not funny. That is not funny, and what that doesn't do is put any child at ease. It just scares them. She asked him, "Can I steal your identity?" His response was just no. Her next question was, "Can I eat your soul?" And when he was expressing it to us, he was crying and he was very upset and said, "No, no," said the mother of the exchange between her son and the photographer. Her next question was, "Well, then what can I eat?" He told me, he said, "Mommy, I don't know what to say." So I said the first thing that came to my mind. And he said, "You can have noodles. You can eat noodles." And her response was, quote, "Demons don't eat noodles." Okay, this chick is just nuts. Why the hell did Life Touch hire this woman? My guess is she has hair like mine, about 73, facial piercings, and a septum piercing, and her tongue has one of those like bifurcations. She also has the gauges out to here, but she wears them without a gauge, and then she like flips them up. That has to be the creepiest damn thing I have ever in my life seen. I hate the gauges. I hate the limp, like fleshy donut ring. It just, when you get that full body shiver, like right before you have to pee, or if you feel something that, just irks you on a soul level. Yeah, that's what I feel when I see people with giant gauges and they don't have anything in it. I don't know why. They're perfectly lovely people. It just gives me the heebie jeebies. Sorry, I don't know why. I'm sure there's a logical explanation. I will find out tomorrow. The mother who initially sounded the alarm about the alleged remarks in a since privatized Facebook post also thanked the elementary school for their swift response. I went to the principal, who is amazing. I will say the school handled it, so we appreciate it. They were very quick. They immediately escorted her off the premises. They called us. The mother said, once the comments were reported, school administration, quote, immediately addressed the issue and the individual was escorted off the property. Outlaw said in an email, you know what? I want to go to a school where my principal's name is Principal Outlaw. I mean, how absolutely Chad is that? I need a principal outlaw in every school. We want to commend our students for quickly reporting the incident, Outlaw said. We are thankful that our message of see something, say something was effectively used in this situation. On Friday, a Shutterfly spokesperson told WTKR that the photographer involved in the Chittenden Elementary incident was no longer employed as a photographer by Life Touch, and an internal investigation is underway. I mean, sounds like she was just looking for a sacrifice to Moloch, but that would be full Dale Gribble, like tinfoil hat. So I'm not trying to go all the way there, but oh dear Lord. In our final story, this is something that I think I am not familiar with this case. I'm going to be very open and honest about that. But there are a lot of questions about this case. Missouri is set to execute a quote unquote loving father whose DNA wasn't on murder weapon, attorney says. A Missouri death row inmate is set to be executed Tuesday in the 1998 fatal stabbing of former reporter, but he maintains his innocence and that he never has been forensically linked to the killing. Marcellus Williams, 55, is set to become the third inmate to be executed in Missouri this year, and the 15th or 16th in the nation, depending on whether he's declared dead before or after Travis James Mullins, another inmate set for execution in Texas on the same day. Two more back-to-back executions in Alabama and Oklahoma are scheduled for Thursday. Williams was convicted of murdering Leisha Gale, a former reporter for the St. Louis Post-Dispatch, fatally stabbed during a burglary in the home she shared with her husband. The St. Louis County Prosecutor's Office supports Williams' claims of innocence and recently filed a motion to vacate his conviction, a move approved by the county trial judge, but was quickly contested by the Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey. The case was talked back to the same judge for a hearing on September 12th, and he reversed his decision. Meanwhile, those who believe Williams is innocent continue to fight for a reprieve. As Williams' execution date approaches, USA Today talked to his attorney and is looking back at a crime and who this man is. On the morning of August 11th, 1998, Gale was in the shower when police say Williams broke into her home on a private gated street. The 42-year-old woman left the second-floor bathroom, and she was walking downstairs when police say she encountered Williams on the landing. At some point, she was stabbed 43 times with a kitchen knife from the home. Later that night, Gale's husband, Daniel Pickus, found his wife's body and called 911. Among the evidence collected, bloody shoe prints, fingerprints, a knife sheath, and the suspect's hair collected from Gail's shirt, hands, and floor. Missing from the home were Gail's purse and jacket and her husband's laptop. The suspect was not immediately named, so in May 1999, Gail's family announced a $10,000 reward for information leading to an arrest and conviction in the case. Not long after, an inmate named Henry Cole and Williams' girlfriend, Laura Asaro, named Williams as the culprit. At the time of his conviction, Williams had just started serving a 20-year prison sentence for robbing a downtown St. Louis donut shop. No forensic evidence tied Williams to the crime scene, but a jury convicted him of murder and burglary. Williams' attorneys have both argued that informants stood to benefit from their cooperation with prosecutors and that their stories sometimes changed or conflicted with other details about the killing. Both witnesses have unfortunately since passed away. Born in South Bend, Indiana on December 30th, 1968, Williams, his mother, and two brothers moved to St. Louis when he was 5. Williams grew up in an impoverished and dysfunctional household where he was exposed to alcohol, drugs, and firearms at a young age, according to court records. He was subjected to violent SA and hands laying on him by some family members. He was abandoned by his parents, and his family condoned criminal behavior and substance abuse. The death of Williams' older brother in 1997 deeply bothered him, since his brother had been a father figure to him. That same year, Williams burglarized a home and spent a stint in jail before his 1998 conviction for the robbing of the donut shop. Williams' attorneys presented evidence that he was a caring and loving father during the penalty phase of his murder trial. Several of Williams's family members and friends, including his son and stepdaughter, testified that Williams had a positive relationship with the children and that his execution would significantly affect his family. While in prison, Williams has devoted much of his time to studying Islam and writing poems, according to the Innocence Project. Williams was set to be executed in January 2015 and August 2017. Both injections were halted to conduct further DNA testing and investigation. The most recent stay of execution was ordered by then Governor Eric Greitens, who appointed a board of inquiry to look at the case. But during the summer of 2023, newly sworn-in Governor Mike Parson dissolved the board and lifted the stay. The court, Parson said, would decide Williams' fate, and the Missouri Supreme Court issued a third execution warrant for Williams. In January, Williams' attorneys filed a motion to vacate his conviction and sentence. On August 21st, County Prosecuting Attorney Wesley Bell's office and Williams' attorney reached an agreement allowing Williams to enter a new no-contest plea to first-degree murder in exchange for life in prison without parole. The victim's husband, Daniel Pickus, signed off on the plea. Although Bell moved to overturn Williams' murder conviction, State Attorney General Andrew Bailey argued it would stand and ordered St. Louis County Circuit Judge Bruce Hilton, who accepted the plea, to hold an evidentiary hearing on the matter. The defense, Bailey said, created a false narrative of innocence in order to get a convicted murderer off death row and fulfill their political ends. No, I just want to know if he actually did it before the state, shuffles this man off his mortal coil. I would like to trust the state, but I don't. So why not let all the evidence out? Or is it because y'all did some finagling and you've got the wrong person? Or you cannot prove it beyond a reasonable doubt? During the August 28th hearing, the retired prosecutor who handled the case admitted evidence was mishandled in the 1998 trial that could have exonerated Williams. But on September 12th, Hilton declined to vacate Williams' conviction and sentence despite questions about DNA evidence on the knife used in the attack. In appeals, his defense team provided evidence that DNA taken from the knife revealed an unknown male profile that did not match Williams. There is no basis for a court to find that Williams is innocent. No court has made such findings. St. Louis County Circuit Court Bruce Hilton wrote, Williams is guilty of first-degree murder and has been sentenced to death. Williams' attorney Tricia Rojo Bushnell told USA Today that her client's defense team will file more appeals and seek clemency. Unless the court or governor intervene, Williams' execution remains set for this week. Williams is one of 5 men expected to be taken out in the U.S. in the next 6-day period. The first was Freddie Owens, who was executed on Friday in South Carolina amid fresh doubts over his guilt. On Tuesday, at the same time as Williams' execution, Texas is set to execute Travis James Mullins in the unaliving of his infant son. Fry, baby, fry. That's all I've got to say about this one. You take out your baby boy. I would like to hear the bacon sizzle. I am in full F deficit about that. So I'm sorry if that's unconscionable or terrible, but no, I give no Fs. Have fun in hell, sir. After Tuesday's double execution, Thursday is expected to bring 2 more back-to-back executions. Alabama is set to use nitrogen gas to execute Alan Eugene Miller in the shooting death of 3 coworkers in 1999, despite evidence of his mental illness and a witness to the state's previous nitrogen gas execution in January who described the method as horrific. Also on Thursday, Oklahoma is set to execute Emmanuel Littlejohn in the death of a convenience store clerk in 1992, despite his arguments that he wasn't a shooter. I think he might be, and I will try to look into this. Unfortunately, I don't have the time or the bandwidth to look into all these cases. I believe that a lot of people have done videos about this. Unfortunately, today is Tuesday, so hopefully his lawyers can do some fancy footwork. I do not feel comfortable allowing the state to make decisions when they seem to be so terribly bad at being, I don't know, ethical. But I did want to highlight this case. It can get into more political stuff, but I think that when the state does something like this, I want to have no doubts. Darrell Brooks would be one that I would have no doubts whatsoever. It's these ones that have lingering doubts that I don't appreciate because I don't believe that the state is good at this. That's my thought, though. Everyone has an opinion and a butthole. Use them how you wish. Stay away from P. Diddy. I will see you guys in a little bit. I am housekeeping stuff and just a warning. So I will be doing the Suzanne Morphew DA disgrace thing over here in the next stream. It is going to involve her bungling a case of an unaliving of a 10-month-old in a vicious way. I don't know where your mental health is. I don't want you to ever risk your mental health or pull up bad memories just for me to get clicks or views or what have you. So I will be warning people at the beginning of the stream, but I did want to give you an extra heads up that, this part of the document is probably going to be Mo being extra mad. You're probably going to get mad. We're all going to get mad and need a day drink. But it also is probably going to go into deals or into details that might be troubling or upsetting if this is a trigger for you. And I don't want you to ever risk your mental health. So I will try to contain that all in this episode or this part 3, and then go directly back to the next part. So hopefully I should be able to do that. And then I'm also going to, if I get further today, I will cut out the child part and just do the rest of it as a separate video. So if you don't catch it live, but you would like to, and you really aren't sure that you want to listen to her bungle this case of a child, then I will have that set up for you. But I did want to give everyone a heads up because I know that is a subject that is really, really difficult and should be really difficult if you have children. So I will see you guys in about an hour. I'm going to go clean the kitchen and work on some laundry because, as I said, I have a glamorous, glamorous life. I need to get a set of pearls. But I will be back and I will see you then. Fun Dying life achievement unlocked. I will see you guys in a little bit. Bye.